Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Thank you, everyone. We are so pleased to be here in this space today. We can already feel the Arcturian frequencies. My guest today is a channel, really, of the Arcturian Healing Frequencies, and he's here to assist us once again in really building our energy, building our relationship to higher dimensions, our higher self, so that we can truly manifest a beautiful life. We are the creators. Hello, Jean. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Hi, Loren. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with everyone to share the energies and discussion and come up with new ideas to, yes, manifest our greatest life.
Yes, manifestation. I think that's one of the most popular phrases for people to really understand and practice, as we know that we literally create our reality. And it's all about energy. And the Arcturians are here to assist us with this. And you do transmissions in group settings, and it's very powerful. We're going to talk about an upcoming series that you've got with the good luck transmissions. But what would you like to say about our ability to manifest? I mean, when we go quantum, what's the missing ingredient?
Yes, definitely. I think we all know the video that was produced called "The Secret" that kind of put a lot of these principles kind of on the map and made it very easy to discuss these concepts. And maybe that was even started before that by such writers as like Napoleon Hill in America and Dale Carnegie. I just to name some of the people were probably and kind of on the shoulders of, as well as I think the start of the New Church movement, and so we're kind of like in a new age of that. Just like as I think of it as like how we have the iPhone now. We had the telephone before that, and the telegraph before that, and maybe Morse code before that. But these concepts they are universal and age old. But I think every age, just like how technology um, progresses, our capacities, our subtle bodies, our consciousness also progresses. So things are easier, faster, mostly because more people are aware of these principles. And but I think what we're really tapping into is our inherent creative nature. I think we are creator beings. When we're in our creative nature, we're probably in our most joyous nature. Even if we think back to when we were a child, perhaps we're just playing in the sandbox, creating sand castles. And although that sometimes that metaphor is used to maybe let us be less grasping of what we're creating, but it also can be seen in a very positive light that, we like to finger paint, we like to do sand castles, and we're just at another level of that now, perhaps with a larger body, maybe a more developed brain. And but we're still creating beautiful sand castles and pastel colors with our paints. Maybe it's a different media now, but I think it's the joy that we felt as a young child. That's the same joy that we can tap into now. I think that's the frequency.
Yes, that's the frequency. That is a key frequency. And, the great sages say, become childlike again and play with that. And another good movie I want to share that really um, took it to a new level as well is What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh, right, yeah.
Are you familiar? Yeah, that changed my life completely, those two movies. So it really is taking a responsibility for what we create and for our own energy. And so the Arcturians are here supporting us energetically. Energetically, can you explain more about how they're going to come in and assist us with the good luck transmissions?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think what's also great and fascinating are more and more people are connecting to their creative consciousness through what I call interdimensional realities or interdimensional consciousness and beings, and acknowledging even just starting with angelic beings like a holy guardian angel. Rather than it only being a theoretical concept, I think more and more people are aware of these spiritual realities. Also, loved ones who may have moved on into the non-physical realm. People are very still aware of them and close to them. And then also the emergence and the widespread more understanding of near-death experiences, where people, really realize that they are more than just their physical body directly, and not just theoretically, and not from maybe a secondhand source. So I think all these global movements, a lot of great books on people who have gone to the other side and come back and recognize that really all the worry and fear that we're having can really just be released. We can really live a life and are free to live a life of freedom, positivity, rather than like guilt or fear. And that's kind of the teaching that many people who've gone to the other side and come back are bringing through. And so this new reality of working with spiritual consciousness, like other spiritual beings, I think where the Arcturians fit in, sort of in like this is our, like I was mentioning, like the different iterations or how technology changes. I think that's the new technology of manifestation, is that we're not alone, that we can manifest with other human beings who are in their body, manifest with other human beings who are not in their body, and also manifest with other beings who are, angelic or extraterrestrial or star beings, who are also very interested in raising, kind of playing in this creative, I guess, cosmic sandbox, creating beautiful castles and pastel pictures together. And I felt like in the last maybe decade or more, working primarily with the Arcturians, that it's really been in a healing context, maybe to release those limiting patterns, whether it be physical, energetic, emotional, mental, causal, spiritual, or even on a blocking our divine level. But here we're looking maybe even a more positive outlook in how we can create a new reality, or realities that are coming from our soul pattern, that we are meant to kind of our inner voice, our inner creative spirit. And so they can be very helpful in that way, to create that vibrational environment for that manifestation to occur.
Yes, very good. So, can you talk a little bit about how one would begin to recognize who they're in contact with, the energy that they're in contact with, and how they could recognize even that they're getting a download?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I think so. One thing is to know that we inherently have that capacity. That's the kind of maybe the first principle or idea. So sometimes it feels like we need to, develop a new kind of skill, or there are certain people who are mostly because they're very maybe easy, vocal in their kind of outgoing nature, but that we would need to develop like a clairvoyant skill. But I think we're all inherently telepathic and clairvoyant. We may not use those terms, but just like when you walk into an environment, you instinctually know, maybe even subconsciously or consciously, whether it feels comfortable or uncomfortable or just sort of neutral. And so that's kind of the skill. That's kind of the sense that we're tuning into. And then really it's one of intention. And I think we'll probably come back to this over and over again. It's very simple and straightforward, but sometimes can be get lost in kind of complexity. But it's the clear intention, both for tuning into, let's say, these non-physical realities and beings, as well as when we talk more about the manifesting and the good luck kind of idea. So if we have a clear intention that we would like to connect, let's say, with the Arcturians. Uh, that's really all that's needed. And then one just needs to be still and kind of feel that sense that's coming through, and to give oneself the space that it doesn't have to happen only on the first time. That whenever you reach out and make that clear intention, that something's happening, whether you can feel it right away or not. And that with repeated experiences, this uh, awareness or this new vibration and consciousness will become more clear.
Yes. And our confidence will build in it, right? We'll know.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's what I love about Jean Eng is the ability for you, Jean, to stay on the positive side of everything. And so with our world right now, how wonderful to be able to use these energies and create new earth and create the new patterns while releasing those old patterns that no longer serve. And when you were sharing about the sand, like having that joy of playing in the sandbox, it reminds me of the Buddhist practice where they do the sand mandalas. And it's beautiful. They do it with all these vibrant colors. And as soon as they're done, it's over and they sweep it away. I mean, that's like, that's a lesson right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love what you brought up. I took part in a couple of those mandala ceremonies. One was the Kala Chakra. Maybe people have heard that. It's for world peace and connects people with Shambhala. There's a number of Buddhist teachers who teach that or hold that in ceremony, but in particular, the Dalai Lama has held it in a number of various countries and cities. And I went to Toronto in 2004 for that. And then I've also taken part in a medicine Buddha mandala that they created. It was in the Catskills. But you're right that at the end they spend. If you see these, they're so intricate. I mean, it's amazing that they can create them out of these colored sand particles. But then they basically just sweep all the sand up right away. It's like you're amazed. And then they offer it to the spirits of usually a water way that's there, like a river or a lake or the ocean if it's there. So it's sort of like how the universe is sort of bubbling. We kind of think of it maybe as this quantum foam, the quantum field or 0 point field. Those are the particles, and then they come back, they come up into some kind of ordered pattern. But then in all things in nature, it really goes back into the quantum foam or quantum field. And that's part of the creativity, the aliveness of living in that sort of flow of the coming in and coming out, much like this ocean that you have. I love your background too. But in nature, the ocean comes, you have the high tide, and you could call that the manifesting into reality. And then the low tide has to come back to almost like replenish itself. So it goes back into sort of the invisible or non-physical.
Yes, just like our breath.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Well, so we're going to experience a little bit of the transmission for good luck, but let's talk first about it because the Arcturians are here to assist us with this. And what's going on with each of these transmissions?
Yeah, I think you could say that the good luck is kind of, it's a field that's starting to appear more and more. Maybe people have had read some books, or if you just do a Google search or Amazon search for books on good luck, it maybe is a subset or an aspect of manifestation. But it's sort of like you could say it's a label for a certain state of consciousness, state of very positive consciousness. Even maybe we've started to talk about it as a flow consciousness, which is sometimes linked to performance. But even in good luck, maybe we're not even entering that, because that there's still some kind of end goal with the like kind of peak performance. But with good luck, you're sort of more in a condition, a state of consciousness where positivity kind of comes into your life, radiates out of your life. And so the next mastery empowerment class or course is to kind of bring through that vibration with the assistance, of course, of our higher self, these spiritual beings that I was mentioning. Maybe people call them our guides or angelic beings, the holy guardian angel being one of our closest guides, and then the Arcturians to kind of, it's almost like a field effect. Is sort of maybe you can think of yourself in a certain time, or maybe you're now all, majority of the time in this state, or someone who you would think of as just lucky. They just seem to always be at the right place at the right time, kind of manifesting the right thing. And so, like, kind of what is that all about? And I think if we look at it from a vibrational point of view, I think it is a type of state of consciousness and a state of vibration that I think is really needed now. Maybe it's a state of joy, but needed at any point in time. But I think it's something where we put our awareness on tends to manifest, where we put our intention on, it tends to manifest. So it's a great pattern, I think, to bring through, particularly right now.
Absolutely, it's a great pattern to bring through. I hope that people just surrender to this joy, right? I mean, it is such this, if we can just laugh a little bit each day. All right, so, when we see people who are just lucky, I've contemplated this too, and it goes deep, it runs deep. And so in each of these transmissions, you will be transmitting with the Arcturians for the physical and the emotional and the mental body and all these other areas. But I have found really that, you know what is it where two boys can go to the same high school, for example, and they can both have pretty much the same experiences, yet when they go out in the world, one is extremely successful and the other is challenged. And so it a lot has to do with the mental constructs, a consciousness level of limiting beliefs.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. I think every like you said, like every experience, I think helps us. The very what we call positive ones, also that what we might label as the negative ones, they kind of help us self-reflect. Sometimes even the more difficult experiences may allow us to kind of get to this state where we're more able to hold that frequency of what we're labeling as luck. I think in some ways this discussion is to kind of tease out what that kind of means, like you said, on both a surface level as well as a deep level. But just to kind of maybe go back a little to your question about like how these transmissions are separated out, or how to look at this question about luck or positive vibration, or kind of creating a field. I think what I most get from this is like a field effect. Like certain people radiate that into their environment, and so not only are they lucky, but it seems like they kind of almost like bless the environment with that good fortune. So I've usually used that seven planes of nature model, which you mentioned, kind of pretty much in detail. But if that's new to people, so the transmissions are like there's three, but they're separated out into kind of what does it mean, and sort of what are the vibrations that create luck, like on a physical, etheric level. So that's like the first transmission. And we can kind of maybe unpack some of that here. Then the next transmission is like, what is luck on the emotional or this field effect of positivity on the emotional, mental level, which is, like you mentioned, really important, even though like not in the physical world, but it leads to a lot of physical experiences. And then finally, on a higher dimensional level, what's this field effect of kind of good fortune on the causal, which is like the karmic, spiritual, which is like the soul patterns, and then divine level. And that's the third transmission. So that's sort of how that particular mastery empowerment class, and how our discussion, we could kind of unpack some of those ideas.
Yes, beautiful. That sounds wonderful. So, as we put this into our field, as we're creating this field, these transmissions will open us up to receive these energies and go out into the world with them. And that's going to be something that is expressed in the myriad of people who are joining us and taking this out there. But let's say when we're talking about creating a field, there's things that we can do with our money, for example, right?
Mhm.
So, have you considered love, let's call them love bombs, little
Right.
drops
Yeah.
of like a $20 bill when it's least expected,
Right.
or
Yeah.
tipping in a way that when it's unexpected or it comes as a surprise. And we can go more into the tipping because because we can even release ourselves from mental constructs or grasping to money. Like you said, the sand, we let the sand move through our fingers. This is the same with money and manifestation. So that's all building, especially if we use our money out in the field with the intention of it circulating in its own economy and
Mm.
bringing abundance for all. So, say if we tip $11.11 on a credit card, or those repetitive numbers, it seems that the repetitive numbers would carry the intention even
Yeah.
further.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah. Our good friend Mike Sienkiewicz, he loved to give out $2 bills in multiples. He loved, because the $2 bill is not that common in American currency. But just thinking of the tipping, he'd always love to give those out, which I thought, like you said, there's like a certain intention on the numbers. Um, but you brought up some great principles there. I think on how to create this field, or just thinking of someone who creates this kind of field, and about the money. There's some very specific techniques that you mentioned there that I'd also like to share or emphasize. But just as a general principle, I think one of the things that you're mentioning is like money being an example of energy, like a condensed form of energy, and the idea that energy, like if you can think of yourself and water being a metaphor, but also a literal example of energy. So we feel most refreshed probably when we step into a body of water that's sort of clear and moving. Like, not like you can think of the opposite of like a stagnant, maybe water source, which is kind of dammed up and pulled up, maybe a little murky at that point, which is fine. That's probably good for the ecosystem on some level too. But the one that makes us feel like vibrant and refreshed, and maybe this vibration is like that mountain stream that's sort of always moving with that clear water, or even like the ocean. Like I said, it goes in and out, but it always keeps the circulation going. And so that's what I kind of was cued into when you said the circulation of money being another form of energy. We're in this vibrant state when we can allow the energy, our energy, to flow in and out. So that's kind of the metaphor, I think, or the template, the pattern for any of these dimensional states. So just coming back to like this very practical aspect of like financial fortune or abundance or prosperity or good luck, it's like you said, like I think most people know, like if some people will pay for someone behind them in the toll as a way to kind of pay it forward or keep this circulation going. Like you said, tipping a certain amount or a certain number. And then I even learned a technique in a wealth kind of book that was kind of unique, and I did it a lot too. It seemed to work. It's kind of a causal. You can't kind of see where it comes back. But what they suggested was that you take a fairly large bill, like a 20, a 50, even 100, and you put like on a sticky note. You just say, "Have a great day," so that they know that it's being given, and then you just put it somewhere in the public. You just like put it down like like on the sidewalk, or like on a table, like in a restaurant, or maybe not on a restaurant because it might look like a tip. And then you just let whoever is going to get it. And it supposedly it creates that flow, and that helps them, and eventually it comes back to you. And I can say that it worked. I mean, I couldn't, of course, it's not going to come back from that person, but it comes back from the universe. And so it's a cool experiment if someone wants to try it out. Maybe give it 3 chances, 3 tries, and just see what happens.
that's an absolute love bomb.
Yeah, I
Really, I
love
call
that.
those love bombs. Yeah, I like that. And the angels are leading it to that person who could use it the most. And yeah, I've been the recipient of someone in front of me taking care of my tab, and that was really cool. And so it continues to roll to the next person. So that's pretty fun. Random acts of kindness It does put a smile on people's face. Okay, is there anything that you want to add about the transmission for good luck for the physical and the etherical?
Yeah. I was just thinking like some of these more of these ideas or principles that then people can get an idea of how to kind of even create their own techniques. Because I think they're universal patterns or principles, and then maybe we can mention some on the physical etheric. But I think one of the things is kind of like I was thinking of a duck. Yeah, things in like we use the metaphor like I'm not getting it right now, but like how ducks just let the water flow off their back. They don't let anything kind of stick to them, or they just like shake it off. Or even dogs, like when they're or animals, particularly four-legged animals, when they're in the water, when they get out, they do that shake from the base of their spine up to their head, and then all of a sudden they're good to go. But that also happens with when they get hit, and they've been starting to study this scientifically for therapeutic reasons. Like if a cat or a dog gets hit or falls from a height, they will do that shake, and then they don't get injured, like they can move on. And it's something probably linked on the physical level to our nervous system. And the key point here is the pattern is people who tend to be in this lucky vibration, they don't let anything like stick to them. It's again part of the flow. Like they don't take anything personally. You can kind of feel that in yourself. Like as soon as you take it personal, like a comment or something happening to you, it's sort of like the flow, it freezes, and like you're stuck on that. And we can get stuck on that for a long time. But whenever we're in that stuck frozen mode, then we're not in the good luck frequency, and we all know that intuitively. Whereas if we kind of like, someone says something, and maybe you're at a party and you're in a good mood, you just kind of let it kind of roll off your back, so to speak, and you're still in the good mood, so to speak. And I think people who are always in that lucky vibration, they're kind of always like that. Maybe that's even been developed. That's why I meant like they've gone through maybe some really difficult times, what we call difficult times, and have learned from that. Like it's no big deal. Like their perspective is so large that it's like no big deal. Even things that we think are a big deal. So it's kind of it's deep in their perspective, and so they can stay in that vibration in kind of all conditions. But I think that's one of the major insights or patterns to the good luck piece.
Yes, very, very interesting. It brings to mind our ability to shift the energy as well and to use these new patterns and behaviors, affirmations, if you will. Affirmations only go so far. If there's still a big belief, it will keep us from that. But personally, this was years ago, 20 years ago. It was a time where, for me, it was a struggle. I did not pay my bills on time. I actually avoided certain bills, and then you'd get the late fees. And I just decided one day, it was a decision, I pay all my bills on time. And even though at the time it didn't really happen, eventually it began to happen, and I pay all my bills on time. I also called on the angels to assist. Again, there's that interdimensional assistance that is absolutely awaiting us. So we can put them to task.
Oh yeah. So just maybe the last couple of things on the physical etheric is like you were mentioning. I think that those are great examples, and how we can make a decision, like that clear intention to kind of move forward and to break these patterns that may no longer serve us. But using the physical body, I think, is great, and there's much more research on this. Of course, therapeutic science likes to study the physical body. But back to that nervous system shaking, like even if you do shake, like if something hits you, you like physically, emotionally, and you kind of do it shaking. And I know in sports they'll do that, like gymnasts who kind of get frozen before they do a very difficult move. They'll ask them like to shake it out, breathe in deeply, breathe out deeply, and then kind of like squeeze for like 5 seconds their entire body, and then release. And that can like really just kind of change that pattern. There's also that power pattern. This psychologist, maybe people have heard it, or maybe we just do that where your like arms are, whenever you're up like this, I guess it increases your testosterone level, regardless male or female, which is like kind of like that, kind of that strength, kind of hormonal level. And I guess they call it like the power pose or something. But just moving your body in a certain way can really change those patterns. I think those are good ideas and very, very easy to incorporate.
All right, very good. So that would be transmissions to support an energetic building of that physical and etherical body. Yes. So let's go to the emotional and the mental, because to me, I mean, that's especially when you're talking about financial manifestation, wealth, that the emotional and the mental get really clogged up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like sometimes, like even hearing that like good luck idea, maybe immediately there's some part of our voice that says, "Oh, like I'm not lucky." Like like it just immediately there's probably like that thought form there, and maybe that like as we kind of uncover that, maybe there's some guilt or some maybe deserving, and so these are all on the emotional mental level, certain patterns, in contrast to the good luck that may be blocking that pattern, which I think is just a natural flow, but that we have. But sometimes it's just being able to accept that abundance, like I'm not lucky, or that word or that idea is like, how much bliss can you accept into your life? Like how much, without having to feel like, oh, like I don't deserve this, or I should be working hard for this, or I should be doing this, or should, all these shoulds. Those are patterns that can be cleared, of course, and that would be part of this transmission. But I think a lot of clearing just allows the acceptance of the natural flow that's already there, and then in some ways maybe we acquired that from those who are close to us when we were young, or somewhere in our environment, where I know there may have been a very strong societal thought forms in certain countries, even our here in the United States, and when I grew up here, where you couldn't just accept something great happening. It either had to be earned, from hard work or something. And that in itself is just an idea. So I think we kind of take what we're, as a process of learning. But a lot of those patterns, yeah, I think do limit the amount of so-called good luck or good flow that can come in quite easily. That's just available in the universe.
Yeah, so happy clearing for those patterns. I mean, it could come from something so simple as a child being told no for something, and that becomes such an experience and our reality, and it builds from there, that suddenly one day we're an adult and we see that that pattern has played out all along the way. So this is true liberation from that, with energy frequencies assisted by the Arcturians. So then the transmission 3 for good luck is on the causal, spiritual, and the divine. Share more about this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think on the flow level for the, causal is like the karmic level, which is really just translates into cause and effect. So I think we have a lot of very beneficial causes in place. Just the fact that if we're even here together, talking together, listening, having a chance to discuss this together, that means we probably had a lot of good causes just to be able to get together in this way, to have a physical body in this way, to kind of be able to think, speak. So there's a lot of things that go unnoticed in terms of like the positive causes. But I think that noticing is part of the, because wherever we notice, we tend to, or put our attention, we tend to accelerate or continue to bring the energy to that particular pattern. So just like noticing beauty in the world creates a cause for more beauty to arise in our sort of environment or in our experience. So that's part of the kind of causal dimension, and sort of those, like I love that what you mentioned, the love bombs. When you kind of put that, in essence, it's like when you put that energy out into the world, that's the cause. It can only return to you. It's like a kind of a universal principle. So I call it a causal, but I mean it's causal, meaning it doesn't always come back through the channel that you gave it in, because that's just a specific form, while the universe is really a pattern. So you put out the energy and it may go through some form, but the pattern may come back in another form, like from someone else or some other avenue. So that's more of the causal aspect. And then the spiritual aspect is really our soul pattern. And I think when our soul pattern is very clear and coming through, sometimes they call it the divine blueprint, or they call it the Adam Kadmon image and the Kabbalah, this kind of personal divine, almost like our architectural plan, our divine architectural plan. When that's able to flow through all the different dimensions, I think that is what's the radiance when you kind of think of that person or think of yourself in your most good lucky state. Actually, we could do a little practice here. I'll just share it, and then people could just do it while I'm describing it. But you just imagine your most, I've shared this in other classes, but you imagine your most good lucky version of yourself standing in front of you, like a hologram. And then you just imagine like either stepping into it or like pulling it into yourself. So you're kind of like merging into that good lucky self. And then just say these three quantum commands: integrate, activate, and unpack now. So if you want, you could just do that now. You kind of just step into, you just imagine your good lucky self and you standing, your most good lucky self, and you stand and you merge into that. And this is like it's like an NLP technique or a self-hypnosis technique that helps you to build a skill. And then you just go about your day. But I found that to be very helpful. But that's kind of the soul pattern, is bringing the soul pattern through in its most clear form is, I think, what creates this very positive vibrational field. And then finally, on the divine level, I think that's the divine is creative. I think it's just naturally creative. We see that in the universe. And so when we're kind of linked, I think that's what Taoists were trying to do, was just to observe nature. We've used a lot of nature examples. We have these backgrounds of nature, I think, for a reason, is that the universe is naturally creative. So when we're just, when we kind of have everything, when we're in the flow, whenever all those other limiting patterns are released, or at least enough are released so that we can kind of stay in that flow, then we're just acting naturally. And I think that's what is the most, so trying, of course, is a good way to start. But the person who's probably in that good lucky state, if you ask them, they would probably not be conscious that they're in that state. Meaning they've gone beyond one step beyond trying now. They're just being who they are. I think that's the divine level. You're just being who you are, and you're very comfortable with being that, and then you just radiate that natural luck.
Wonderful. I know that there's so many who really want to hold that and hold those frequencies. So that's what we're going to be doing, is working with these frequencies with the help of the Arcturians to stabilize that within us. You know, the great sages, or there was one of the great sages, he is eluding me at this moment, but he used to manifest right from thin air.
Oh
Isn't this
yeah,
the same?
Sai Baba,
This is, yes, that's it.
the Vibhuti, the like divine kind of ash. Was that what you were talking about? Or he would just like manifest a ring or some
Yes, he would
keys or
manifest a ring. Sai Baba, Sai Baba.
Sai Baba, right? Sai Baba.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Direct manifestation, like kind of straight from the like we might call it the quantum field or the divine, right into the physical without any delay. And yeah, the idea is that when these subtle bodies, starting from the divine being the most the source level and most causative, down through the spiritual, causal, mental, emotional, etheric to the physical, when they're very clear in our system, then from one divine thought, it just comes out right into the physical, or very quickly into the physical. So maybe we're not at the level, or maybe we are, where you could just like manifest an egg or something right out of your hand, or this divine. Sometimes they call it divine ash, the ash out of your hand. But a lot of people will manifest quite quickly, something as soon as they think about it. Yeah, and I think more and more people probably have had that experience now. We're probably on the call or listening.
Okay, beautiful. Well, the key ingredient, as we've heard, is joy. And that's going to be beautiful to witness in our own life as we experiment with this. Okay, can we do a transmission and then we'll take some questions and comments from our audience?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll do these Arcturian joy transmission, but good luck transmission, like for the divine. I think that's kind of the conclude one of the concluding points is just when we're in our most natural state. I think someone, well, we've heard this phrase, but if someone was saying it, that just comes to mind, like when we're comfortable in our own skin, just like that's when we're kind of probably the most lucky. And some of the books that I read on the luck, one of the points they mention is, the person who kind of finds the $5 bill on the sidewalk versus someone who walks by the same place and doesn't, is because they're very relaxed. uh, they're just much more relaxed. And I think that's part of this being in your divine self or your natural self. Yeah, so we'll do like a short transmission, maybe a 5-minute energy exposure from the divine level. And just the intention would be, yeah, just to be settled in expressing our regular divine nature, or just who we are in our most comfortable sense of self. Okay, so you can just relax. You just see what you feel. So we're starting the Arcturian good luck transmission on the divine level, connecting to our most natural self, just who we are on the deepest level and natural level. And if you're new to the transmissions, usually I'm just silent. You can just notice whatever you're noticing. Every so often I'll speak again just so you know that the transmission is still going on. We should do like three different cycles that deepen. So we'll just be doing this first cycle with the divine transmission version. If you want to remember those times when you were really naturally happy, maybe for no reason, or maybe there was a reason. And now we're entering a second deepening cycle with the Arcturian good luck transmission on the divine level. It's one of the qualities to allow the good luck field to emanate is happiness, which was our first cycle. Here we're focusing now on times when we were thankful, or even thinking of something we were thankful. Maybe just getting a chance to be here together. All the simple and not so simple things that even allowed that to happen. So that's another component or vibration of the good luck field. So we're continuing to deepen this second cycle, particular emphasis on the gratitude frequency. Now we're moving to the third and final cycle with the Arcturian good luck transmission on the divine level. Here we're expressing who we are on our deepest level, which is love. I think of a time when that was just natural for you, where you saw that that was your inner nature. Maybe you have a pet or an animal who reflected that back to you or inspired that aspect in you. Or a child or a parent, partner, maybe even someone you pass by for a moment. You had the instant recognition of your true nature of love. So that completes the transmission. When you feel comfortable, open your eyes, your fingers.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's
That
fun.
beautiful, yeah, that beautiful expression of those frequencies. Each level was different, and we truly hope that everyone watching and listening was able to experience that. We shift, we really truly shift our vibration, and to feel the softness in as the transmission began, such an incredible softness and an expansion of the heart space, the heart chakra. Personally, for me, that was really lovely. And then the gratitude frequency, that is another key recipe, a key ingredient in the recipe, that gratitude, no matter where we are. And I truly felt that. And I trust that everyone feels that as well. And so there really is no filters on love as we hold this frequency. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. I would maybe before I know we're going to do questions, which is great, or just comments, but it just came to me like I know we were recommended keeping the journal. We did the dream and sleep class together, but it just came to me like people might like even right after this, and if it seems like a nice practice, you keep a little notebook, like even one of those small ones that you can put in your pocket, where you just notice where you're lucky. or where good things happen, or even you could call it synchronicities, and just jot it down like, oh, like, like I got this nice letter in the nice email, or, or yeah, oh, I got extra money here, or it could be like that. But the thing is, when you write it down, or when you notice it, first when you notice it, and then also when you write it down, it will be like this little magical diary, because it will, just based on the principles of focus, wherever we focus tends to just happen more and more. The pattern just keeps strengthening in the inner world. By that idea of noticing the lucky events, or good fortune events, and writing it down, it'll just have more and more will actually start to appear. It'll seem like we manifest it, but it's more that they're always probably happening. And then our consciousness, because there's like billions of inputs coming in at any moment, because we're geared into noticing that, it will tend to just be more and more what happens in our environment. So, anyways, maybe that will be.
Yeah, that's a really good little tip. So keep your little lucky journal. Yeah, like whether, I mean, it could be the most simplest of things, like finding a dime,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Or maybe you get, I don't know, then we can start to look back on our life and you have a track record instead of this belief, oh, I'm never lucky. As you said, a lot of things go unnoticed.
yeah, uh-huh,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. All right. Well, that was a beautiful taste of the energies. And in the transmissions that we do with Jean, we go at least an hour in the transmission. But then the other beautiful side of it is the discussion and the lessons that we learn. We learn more techniques. We hear from other people how they've gone and brought these energies and experiences into their life. So it really is wonderful. So there is that available right here on this webpage for everyone who's interested. We hope to see you guys there. It's beautiful. All right, let's go to some comments coming in because they are lovely. And I do wish to share them. So Anna, hi Anna, says beautiful. I love this. I have those $2 bills to distribute. These 3 cycles were amazing. No filters on love for sure. I have a big smile on my face. Absolutely beautiful. And that is a field that you are now radiating. And so go share it with the world. All right. Lovely transmission. And Anna is feeling very lucky. And Pamela shares, I keep a daily gratitude list that I print out and keep in a jar, in a large jar, and I read it out loud on New Year's Eve. It takes hours for me to read, but the gratitude gets expanded even more. I love that. Daily gratitude, little notes that she puts in a jar, and then at the start of a new year, she reads it out loud. That's a great way to go forward into a new year, too. Awesome. Let's go to, I want to bring in Arietta, and you can unmute yourself and share a comment or a question. So that's for Arietta. Hi, Arietta.
Thank you. Actually, it was by accident, but thank you so much. I love you guys. I love you so much, both of you. I have a question. Uh, one of the three cysts, my liver cyst is a little big, and I want to know if there is any disease or yes, yes, thank you.
yeah. Well, maybe we could run a short frequency on it, Arcturian
Thank you.
healing frequency. Yeah, and other people will experience it too and can use it for whatever they like, or if they're listening to the recording. It's called the Arcturian repatterning of cells. So it can help to balance any patterns there. If there's a cyst pattern, it will rebalance that.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, people can just relax. And this is called Arcturian repatterning of cells. It works on the cellular and DNA level. Yeah, so we're starting the Arcturian repatterning of cells. So we're helping Arietta, her liver, and then also each person individually can set the intention if they wanted to work on anything, particularly on their physical body. Or you could just let it run wherever it needs to for vibrant health on the physical and energetic and cellular level. Continuing to let the Arcturian repatterning of cells frequency continue the channeling. Bringing vibrant health to all our cells, filled with flowing chi. Making sure all our DNA machinery is on point. Great. That completes the short session.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel deeply, deeply grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Mother
Thanks.
Bright. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. Thank you for that request.
Thank
It's huge
you.
for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Arietta. It's amazing to me how every frequency is different. And I'm one that, I mean, I'm sensitive to energy, but I can't feel it like some people can. But with these, it's beautiful. So it's just interesting to witness. Let's go to Tamra or Tamara. Hi.
Hello, you beautiful beings.
Hello.
Hello. Wow, thank you, thank you. It's like, where do I start? But I guess the issue for me has been one of several in my master creation. Difficult for me to receive. I have made a lot of money over the last 7 years, but I have like very, very, very little in the bank. It's like this, I don't know. It's like it's just I've got to get rid of the money. You know, it's like I cannot seem to hang on to it. So there's like a deserving or worthiness issue, perhaps, and responsibility. Be honest. Yeah, I'd love some assistance with that. That'd be amazing. Thank you and appreciative.
Oh yeah, no, thanks. That's helpful for all of us, I think. Yeah, I took this just to mention on a note that someone had shared, actually a prosperity course with Master Chokoksu in pranic healing. He had a very interesting breakdown. It's a very like practical breakdown that like your income, he said 10% donate, 30% save, and 60% put back in the circulation, like spend. And it's very interesting because when you think about that from a energy practice, like when you do meditations where you generate a lot of chi, at the end you're supposed to collect the chi into your navel center, into your lower dantian, because you kind of have all this chi. It's sort of like our money, but if you don't collect some of it, then it just kind of floats out into the environment. So it's sort of like all these different levels have a very similar pattern. Anyways, we'll do an energy from the Arcturians that will help to clear any emotional or mental patterns where that may be kind of keeping that like flow from being sort of saved or collect some of it. Does that sound good?
That sounds amazing. Thank you.
Okay, so this is called the Arcturian metatron, emotional device for clearing emotional patterns. Okay, so you can just see what you feel, and everyone also will be who'd like can experience this and utilize it in whatever intention they have. We're starting the Arcturian Metatron astral device for emotional pattern balancing. Continuing to channel the Arcturian metatron astral device for emotional and mental pattern balancing. We can clear also in general if people, any vows of poverty or anything that would keeping us from accepting the flow or saving the flow or releasing the flow of energy and prosperity, money, finances in our life. Yeah, and that completes the short but intense session.
Wow. Wow. Boy, the tears just flowed there with guilt and shame, and it was on like an ancestral level of thank you, unworthiness, and the throat is quite painful. But thank you. Blessings.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. Thank you, Tamara. Happy clearing. Happy clearing.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to David. Hi, David. You can unmute yourself if you have a comment or a question. And I'll go next to Fride. Fride, you can unmute if you've got a question.
Hi, thank you. This is so beautiful. It's just so, well, now I'm going to start crying, so I'm not going to continue, but you understand. It's really very, very powerful and not expected at all. There's so many things I could want guidance or transmission on, but one thing is I've actually been very lucky in my life. I'm actually very lucky to be coming across this as well. And things, when you're in the flow, things just happen, right? And it's beautiful and it feels magical. And I would like to take it like the next logical step, which is sort of more direct access to higher consciousness or Arcturians or others. And I don't know, maybe the pineal gland or other hormones, some transmission there or help.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah,
suggestion. I'm all open for it.
yes, thank you. Thanks for sharing all that. Yeah, well, maybe we could share a technique. I'm sure that would be very helpful. What you asked, and also people probably might be interested. And just to link this to maybe some other practices we've done, but we've talked a lot about this like vertical energetic pillar. It's like a waterfall. You know, you could think of this now as our good luck waterfall. Like the spiritual energy from the divine, like kind of just comes down and permeates our, subtle bodies and our chakras, and just like blasts out to the environment, blessing the environment. But you could think of this as like the spiritual energy that's coming down is sort of like a prosperity waterfall. And so, like exactly what you said, if you just focus either on the center of your head, on the pineal, or they call this in the school I studied with called clear vision, the clear fountain. Again, like this idea of a fountain or a waterfall. You just put your awareness somewhere above your head whenever you want to tune into like any energetic information, or even to imprint an intention like of luck or prosperity. The place to put your awareness is above your head. The other place you can put it is at your heart center. And that's also like we were talking about the love piece. Yeah, but we'll do a short transmission or frequency here. We'll use there's actually a lot coming through, but something called the Arcturian Primordial frequency, which connects us to our divine self and sort of this divine waterfall. And yeah, that will open up this channel for you and for everyone on the call if they like. Okay, does that sound good?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a short exposure to this is called the Arcturian Primordial Frequency. So we're channeling the Arcturian Primordial Frequency to open up our pillar to bring through this flow of abundance that can be visualized as a beautiful waterfall or like liquid gold coming down from above, or even platinum gold coming down into our crown, down into our head, our shoulders, our arms, our hands, radiating out of our hands, down our throat, heart, solar plexus, navel, pelvic region, thighs, lower legs, down our feet, down into our soles, down into the ground. A beautiful, abundant waterfall of prosperity and abundance, always flowing down from above and radiating out to the environment. This frequency is clearing and keeping this channel open and wide. Yeah, and the frequency ended there.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Free Day. All right, we're going to go back to David. Hi, David. You can unmute again.
And there's the button.
Hi, how
Hi.
are you?
Good,
Welcome.
very good. I appreciate all of frequencies and energies. I think I would just make a quick note. I really connected to you with the pillar of light and the energy of manifestation. And there was this one thing I read in a medical journal about how the heart does and things actually of, and it does it through a double vortex. And so when you breathe and you put in the oxygen and the energy and the thought form, your heart feels like. I think how it, for me, that is how it created, how it creates, through that. That's it.
Yeah.
I walked around for like 2 or 3 years after a car accident and chanted, I am a pillar of light. I anchor the light of the Christ wherever I go. And I just envisioned a figure 8 going through me into the earth's Alcyone and just walking through the woods and with my dog. And wow, it was amazing experiences I had just with the light and anchoring light and energy. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think there were a piece that I didn't catch, but I caught most of that. But yes, the heart center is so important. And like you mentioned, I think it's called a double vortex, or I've heard it being like a torus shape, like of electromagnetic energy. That's actually the biggest. It's a much bigger torus than our the electromagnetic energy that's coming from our brain. And like you were mentioning, like tuning into the quantum field, actually, I've learned techniques you actually drop into the heart center, that being kind of the gateway into the quantum field of manifestation. And then I love how you mentioned the infinity symbol. I've also heard people have a complete modality just based on working with the infinity symbol, and that's a very deep geometrical form. So it's great to hear your experience with that.
Yes, thank you. David, we've muted you to take out background noise. So if you have another comment, you can unmute again as well. All right, thank you. Thanks, David. And Jeannie, hi, you are unmuted. Did you have a comment or a question? Hi.
Yes, I have one quick comment, and I do have a question for Jean. My comment is about following Loren and also Jean for the last few years. You seem to radiate more joy than you even used to. I mean, obviously, you're both very upbeat, but and then I must say that over the last year, this is true for both of you, from my point of view, you guys, your joy quotient has truly, it's just truly radiant. So that's my comment. So thank you for that. And Jean, here's my question, or maybe for Loren. I've gotten some recent blood work that says that there's blood loss and there's low numbers for hemoglobin and so on and so forth. And it kind of goes with fatigue. And this new doctor even said, oh my goodness, over the last however many years, this number has been going down. And if you go down anymore, you're going to have a blood transfusion. And I went, my goodness, I had no idea. So for me, over the years, from what I've studied, blood loss goes with lack of joy. There's no joy in Bloodville. Joy is running out. So when I go into it, it's about lineage. So perhaps it's lineage, and therefore I also learned it. I have the mindset of my family where joy and celebration was not okay for some reason. So I just wondered, if you guys had a comment about that.
Yes, well, we could run some frequencies for that just to bring in the Arcturian energies and consciousness. If that sounds good, there's something called the Arcturian time collapsing frequency. That would be very helpful. And
Oh
also
yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and we can also clear any lineage patterns if that's hampering.
If it
your
is, yes. Okay.
vibrancy, on the joy and blood level patterns.
Thank you.
Yeah, some people can experience this in whatever intention also they'd like to set, or just let the intelligence run where it needs to. So we're running the Arcturian time collapsing frequency. And this is helping us all to enhance our pattern of our blood, our connection also to iron. Iron being a very important element of the blood, and also it allays any fear in the astral body. So allows for that natural joy to occur. Continuing to channel the Arcturian time collapsing frequency. Continuing to deepen the Arcturian time collapsing frequency. Great. That's the end of the short session. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. It started in the upper chakras, very strong. So I opened up my central channel in case there was a blockage, and it ended up in the second chakra and then back to the upper chakras again. And it's, of course, it's still running. I mean, it's not finished. So, ooh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you. And thank you for all your joy. And Loren, especially all your joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your joy. Thank you. Cultivate it. The planet thanks you. Everyone thanks you. All right. And I wanted to say, so as you feel that frequency of the time collapse frequency, my higher self said to tell you, don't forget about the power of your voice. You could hum that frequency into your, is it the bone marrow that
Oh,
creates
yes.
blood? Hum it, hum
Yes.
it. Try
W-
it. Just experiment with that and let me know how that goes.
Okay, hum the frequency that Jean transmitted.
And use your internal, I mean, work with your higher self,
Okay.
but it's your voice and send it to your bone marrow.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you. I'm doing that. Absolutely. I'm writing that down.
And then tell your doctor exactly what you did.
And
Okay.
she's one that will understand. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to take one more. We're going to go to Philip next, but I want to invite everyone watching and listening to join us in this next series. And one thing that we've got that we're making, hopefully boosting the lucky energy, is we've created a new bundle, and we hope that it kind of makes people again feel lucky, where it's 13 recent transmissions recorded in 2020 and 2021, most of them from this year, and we're making them available for a really special price. I think it's like $15.15 for each transmission. So if you've missed some of the earlier live transmissions with Jean, they're all available. So they're on this webpage right here. And if you upgrade to that bundle, it's called the Arcturian Transmissions for New Earth. You will get this lucky transmissions, the good luck transmissions, as well as part of that bundle. Did you want to add anything about those earlier transmission, Jean? I know people can read about them, but you may want to speak briefly about them.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm more joyous. No, but all those transmissions, a lot of them have to do with the theme of the new human, kind of Homo luminous, and so there's ones on creating portals in ourselves, portals in others. There was the new Renaissance pattern. I think that was very cool. And now those are the ones that are kind of coming to mind. I know we did the dream and sleep yoga. People might have already tuned into that, but that's a great series also. And we did a number of dream labs together. So that's in the field. And I think a lot of people were unpacking just their insights in those transmissions. So I think it really, I felt, particularly because of that Renaissance transmission, and even previous to that, that this past year, the spiritual world really has just opened up in my perception, and really started just to bring through some new patterns. And maybe that's also because we kind of called that through just collectively and individually. So I really enjoyed those recent, like you said, the last year and a half of transmissions.
Yeah, in a way, it really assists us with higher self embodiment. Really, it's a deeper connection to the wisdom that we hold within ourselves. And one of the ones that I liked particularly was the Arcturian thought transmissions. That was really liberating in a time when the outside world, the
Okay.
collective, could be very divisive. And so that it's all just very empowering. So thank you. That is all available again right here on this webpage. And you guys, please check it out. Soon they will be available individually as well, and there'll be a discount code. Jean50 will get you 50% off any of Jean's earlier mastery empowerment courses that are there. So if you don't want the bundle, you just want a few, use the code Jean50 in the shopping cart for 50% off. Okay. All right. And we look forward to seeing everyone in our next upcoming series. So we have time for one more, and we're going to go to Philip. Hello, Philip.
Hello, thank you. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent, yeah. My accent would indicate I'm calling from Sydney in Australia. So it's been great to experience the transmissions, Jean. It's very powerful. So thank you for that. I wanted to ask you though, so I've the last 5 years sort of come into this, for me, this greater sense of self-awareness around my cosmic body and my cosmic consciousness. But I still find that my lower chakras, I have a lot of difficulty keeping them attuned. And I find that no matter how frequently I try to center myself as I move through my life, that if something's going to sort of get out of balance or go wrong, it's always going to end up in my lower chakras. And I just want a better understanding of a couple of things. One is, why is it so difficult for me to sort of get a sense of balance in that space, particularly me in terms of in this body, but also does it have something to do with old stories or narratives that I may still be caught up in that keeps me in this loop? I just haven't been able to make sense of it. If it's okay that I ask that, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something that we all kind of work on, or kind of a pattern that we can also develop in our spiritual practice or just in our self-awareness. Sometimes I call it the embodiment of kind of the spiritual reality. So the idea is one way to look at it is some people have a predisposition, or kind of like almost like a knack in their energy field to connect to, like you said, if we thought about it, like the upper chakras and then the lower chakras, and kind of like working with light beings or light technologies. A lot of people are very facile or very easy to connect with their upper chakras, kind of to this flow that's from above. And then the idea is that there's the lower part of our energy field that just needs attention, really, and noticing. And if you are doing any kind of meditations, like on the different centers, you just might want to put an emphasis, or at least some time, like I would say 5 minutes each session or more, in the what's called the lower dantian, or the belly region, which is about 4 finger widths below your navel. And then if you just do that, that will kind of build the energy there and get your subtle body system of the lower centers used to kind of that energy input. That could just be like a, And then, we could run a frequency if you like, and we just to kind of build those areas and kind of allow your energy field and consciousness to feel comfortable in the lower half of your energy body.
Yeah, that would be very much appreciated. And I am very much aware that the higher chakra access seems to happen naturally and without a great deal of thought. But the lower ones throw me off. I'm not centered. And so it's great to have the experience of, I suppose, feeling, hearing and seeing, cosmic energy to a degree. But if I have trouble sort of grounding in this body, it's sort of removes the whole notion of having meaning. So if you can definitely be of support with the transmission, that'll be great. Thank you.
Okay, that'd be great. And then the other thing you can do, just and people can do in general, is sometimes when you're doing your meditation or receiving a transmission, you might want to stand. This is like a very Taoist Qigong type, or even martial arts practice, where they're very good at building the lower channels of the legs and the lower chakras. They call it the lower dantian or hara. So just like for like 10 minutes of the meditation, you stand and then put your awareness on that belly region. And that will build the lower centers also.
That's wonderful. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to run something called the Arcturian Red Dragon.
Okay.
And yes, it's actually from the Earth Energies series in the Arcturian Healing Method. And we'll use that to help open up our lower chakras and build and strengthen our lower energy centers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're running the Arcturian Earth regenerative energies of the red dragon. And people can intend to use this and or connect to this in whatever specific intention they have. And also, or Philip's request, or if you also tune in and would like to help it build your lower energy centers and channels, feeling more able to embody the high frequencies into your physical system, physical body. Feeling also grounded and balanced with the lower chakras, with all the chakras. Yes, this lower belly region is also our energy center of abundance, prosperity, good fortune on the physical, etheric level. Maybe the image of the happy Buddha comes to mind. With the prosperous belly. Signifying a very energetic lower dantian or belly region. And that completes the frequencies.
Thank you. That was I felt that was beautiful, strong. I saw some white doves come in around that on the peripheral of the red dragon. So don't know what that meant, but it felt lovely anyhow. But yeah, that was really lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. And what was that you felt? Was it? I didn't catch the word. Doves?
Sorry, white doves. So on the peripheral of where the red dragon was, around my lower center, just around the outside of my heart chakra, there I could see white doves. And
oh, doves.
Yeah, doves.
Oh,
sorry,
nice.
it's the Aussie. We drag our words. Sorry. Yeah, but yeah, DOVES, doves.
Nice.
Yeah. Does it mean anything in context of this experience?
Well, doves, I mean, the first thing that came to mind was the dove is definitely the bird of peace. The dove was like kind of like also the Holy Spirit in kind of the aspiration. Yeah. So that's definitely like the spiritual energy from above, and combining with the lower energies. It's kind of a very good sign in with that one interpretation.
Thank you. It felt like the Holy Spirit. The old memories of Catholic Sunday school, but yeah. But no, that's lovely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, that was very grounding. I'm just amazed at all the different feelings of those frequencies. And, when we're in the transmissions, you never know what Jean's going to pull out in a transmission. It's quite amazing. Sometimes the integration afterwards is really, sometimes it's like the best part of the whole thing, because all these different frequencies can come in. So thank you for that. Well, Jean, this has been amazing today. Thank you. The vibration has shifted for those in the audience, and we are forever grateful for that. As we wrap up, I just want to give you a moment to share any final thoughts.
Oh, yeah. No, this has been great. And it's great to create this energetic field. I think we all sort of, I call it like the chalice, create like a chalice to receive the energies from the inner world, from our higher self, from our guides, this spiritual reality that's in our midst. You could call it these quantum invisible fields that are just giving rise to what's in the physical. And when we kind of take that moment here, like, I guess it was more like I don't even know how long the time flew. Maybe it's an hour or 90 minutes, or that really just creates a ripple effect. I think that's beautiful, that continues on and on. We do know somewhat how it reaches ourselves and others, but also many people or many beings that we may not meet directly are benefiting from kind of this work that we do together.
Yes. The many beings that are benefiting and the many beings that are assisting. And as we've learned, this is a field that radiates out into our environment, and it literally changes the world. So Jean, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you again. You can find Jean's special offer ready right here on this page. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.